on this subject. I think if anyone listened to him, both if the dreamers heard him, they'd feel so comforted and inspired and optimistic. And if others heard him, if their hearts are open, they'd have to say, we must get a result. We must do the right thing. John always inspires us in that way. What an honor it is for all of us to serve with him, to call him colleague. John submitted the story from Georgian. Last week, this is Georgian's statement. Last week, on January 30th, 2018, President Trump, in his State of the Union, said, Americans are dreamers too. He didn't mention the second part. Dreamers are American too. My name is Daniela, and I was there at the State of the Union last week when I heard President Trump say these words. Daniela is a Georgian, as John Lewis has indicated. Daniela goes on to say, I was brought over at age 4 because my mother realized that if we stayed, we wouldn't survive. At the time, she's from Acapulco, Mexico. At the time, there were very limited ways to get into the U.S. legally. It required a lot of money and time, something we didn't have. Put yourselves in her shoes. What would you have done for you and for your child? Wait years in a country that wasn't safe with the hope that someday, maybe, you could come to America, a someday that never came for some because death came knocking first. Death by violence. My mother did what any good parent would do in that situation. She decided to risk her life so that her child could have a future. I'm currently a student down the street at George Washington University. I grew up in Georgia. I speak English more fluently than I do Spanish. America is home. I'm an American. I'm currently studying political science and aspire to work for the United Nations and an advocate for human rights. I earned over $30,000 in private scholarship money to attend college. She worked and did that. Nothing was handed to me. I did not qualify for in-state tuition or any type of federal financial aid. They call us dreamers, but we're actually working every day to make our dreams into a reality. It's cruel to deny me and the 800,000 plus dreamers a clean dream act. The impact of losing DACA would be devastating, not just emotionally and personally, but also detrimental to the economy. Dreamers are going to school, opening businesses, working, paying taxes, I would add, serving in our military. A study of the Center for American Progress estimated the loss of all DACA workers would reduce U.S. GDP by $433 billion over the next 10 years. Yes, $433 billion, Mr. Speaker, over the next 10 years. Removing the dreamers is not only unethical, it is unjust. It's also simply un-American because of the damage it would do to the economy. You gave me an oath to protect the interests of American people. I'm an American. This is not a partisan issue. Please choose to be on the right side of history. I thank John Lewis for submitting this beautiful statement, and also to thank this Georgian for her testimony. I just want to say to Daniela that not only would we be, you ask us to be on the right side of history, I would say that in this Congress and in this country, we not only want to be on the right side of history, we want to be on the right side of the future. And to be on the right side of the future, we have to recognize who we are as a country, what our values are. Imagine founders who would say as our national purpose and what we owed people, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness is one of the goals of our nation, one of the standards of what we stand for, to use the word again. And so this is not just about protecting the economy. It's about protecting our country, as who we are as a country. So I thank John Lewis and I thank Daniela for her impressive presentation.